Hi there, fabulous fourth graders. It's Miss Escamilla again, back to go over a couple of examples of long division with you so that you have a little help if you get stuck on your homework this week. All the problems this week require us to divide using the standard algorithm or regrouping, and of course, I like to call it long division. The first step into dividing a problem is to think about the steps that we need to complete as we divide the process. And the process that we talked about was daddy, that's not very good, mother, sister, and brother. We also said that stands for does McDonald's sell burgers. And the D stands for divide, the M stands for multiply, the S stands for subtract, and the B stands for bring down. This is kind of the process we use, and we repeat the process depending on over and over again, depending on how many, depending on how many digits we are dividing. So because we're dividing by 8, I've encouraged kids to create a tic-tac-toe or a hashtag where we are counting by 8s. And so I'm going to do that over here to the side. This kind of helps us with our dividing. So if we're counting by 8, it would be 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, and 72. So the first step would be to divide. So if I have 7 and I try to divide it by 8, because 7 is a smaller number than 8, we cannot make any groups of 8 if we're in the number 7. So then instead of trying to divide 7 by 8, we are going to take a look and try to divide 76 divided by 8. So I can come over here to my tic-tac-toe and look how many times 8 can go into 76 without going over. And so when I do that, I notice that it can go into 76 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times and get close to 76 and not go over. It lands on 72. But if we were to count by 8 again, that would be 80, and that would go over the 76. So we can say that 76 divided by 8 equals 9. And I place my 9 above the 6 because since we tried to divide 7 by 8 and we couldn't do that, we get nothing. Therefore, you can put a 0 there if you want to, or you can just leave it blank. And our next step would be to multiply. We just wrote down a 9. We multiply it by the divisor 8. 9 times 8 equals 72. Then the next step would be to subtract. So we subtract 76 and 72. The difference is 4. The next step says to subtract. We already subtracted. It's to bring down. So we are going to bring down the 4. And now this is our new number that we are going to be dividing. So the process starts all over again up here at divide. So if I have 44 and I divide it by 8, I can count by 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times without going over 44. So we would put 5 up here. 44 divided by 8 equals 5. Then the next step is to multiply. 5 times 8 gives us a product of 40. We subtract those two numbers. Then the next step is to bring down. So I have one more digit to bring down as a 3. And my new number that I need to divide is 43. 43 divided by 8. Again, we need to find how many times 8 can go into 43 without going over. And when I do that, I notice I can do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So I put a 5 up here. It's part of my dividend. Then the next step is to multiply. That 5 I just wrote down, multiplied by 8, gives me 40. I need to subtract those two numbers now, which gives me 3. I have no other digits to bring down over here. Therefore, that means I'm done dividing. The 3 that we have left is our remainder. So I put that up at the top as part of our quotient. Remainder of 3. And I made a mistake earlier when I said that this was our dividend. I apologize for that. This is our quotient. So our quotient is 955 with a remainder of 3.